up everyone? It is Rachel. Welcome back to my channel. And today we have an exciting video because I'm going to be talking with my friend Michelle, who is a rising senior at Berkeley this year. So basically in this video, we're just going to be talking about UC Berkeley's campus plan for the fall, online classes, what is dorm life going to look like, what is club recruitment going to look like. So definitely if you are coming to Berkeley in the fall as a first year or transfer student, or if you're just interested to see what Berkeley is doing for the fall semester, definitely keep watching this video. And so speaking of back to school, I actually have a project that is really exciting that is going to launch in early August, so stay tuned for that. I guess I can just tell you all a little bit about it, but basically it's college consulting. I am gathering a group of really intelligent, passionate UC Berkeley students right now, and we will be reading college application essays as well as doing one-on-one consulting calls with students who may want to learn more about someone's major, how they chose their major, what activities they did in high school that made them a better applicant for college, all of that jazz. So I'm like so freaking excited about the launch of that. Definitely, if you are interested in learning more, sign up to get an email when the website does go live by filling out the Google form in the description. I'm so excited. Okay, awesome. So it looks like we are on Zoom now. Hopefully this works. And I am with my friend Michelle, if you want to introduce yourself.
So hi, my name is Michelle. Currently, I'm going to be an incoming senior at UC Berkeley, and my major is political science.
I wanted to bring Michelle on because obviously she's going back to school in the fall. I am not, so I thought that would be a great student experience because she is actually going through all of the same stuff that you all might be going through if you're an incoming first year or transfer student going to college in the fall. Awesome. Yeah. So Michelle, you're a resident assistant, also known as RA at Berkeley. That's how Michelle and I met. So you're going back in the fall to work as a resident assistant in Berkeley's dorms. So say you weren't an RA, would you still go back if this was your first year on campus? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it really depends on how you are as an individual. So for me, my first year, I wasn't financially independent. It was a huge burden to go to college anyways. Like that was something that cost a lot of money for me. So this would have been a really hard decision for me. Socially, I would have wanted to go, but I might have made the decision to stay back home purely out of finances. If it's not a financial decision, I think that would make it a lot harder. I think I would have chosen to go back up just because I'm not a big fan of my hometown. I kind of wanted to get away. So that would have been kind of the deciding factors for me.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like for me as an out-of-state student, I think finances would definitely be a big part in choosing whether to go to college and do online classes, live in the dorm, or stay home and do online classes. I would have wanted that like freshman year experience living in the dorms, but I feel like financially, I probably would have stayed home and done classes online and then went back to college, go back to Berkeley maybe in the spring or next fall whenever things start to let up.
It's not the same experience. And while we're going to try to do things that make you feel connected to your community, if you're living in the res halls, at the end of the day, even if you're next door neighbor and you become best friends, they're not technically allowed to go in your room, which is a huge difference from my freshman year. I remember like going and playing board game nights with my friends on like some of the first nights of college. And that was a huge bonding experience for me, but that's just not possible anymore.
Yeah, so I definitely think a lot of things are changing on the college campus. Speaking of dorm life, what is dorm life going to look like in the fall since you're going to be working in the residence halls, and how is that different from prior years?
Yeah, so what I've heard is basically the same as what the residents are hearing. Everything that's kind of on the website is what I've heard too. So no guests in the res halls. That's a huge difference. Normally you're allowed to have people even stay with you too. That's something that's changing. Anytime you're in a common space, you have to wear a mask. That's really crucial, really important. They might be limiting how the bathrooms work or kind of putting up dividers or being very conscientious about those health things. So that's something that's very different. I think the whole halls are just going to be more sterile than they normally are, both socially and like hygienically. One of the biggest problems I have with my residents normally is we have communal bathrooms and they're often very dirty, but this year that's not even an option. And normally I'm more chill with things as an RA. I don't seek things out, but for public health safety standards, if I hear something, I'm going to make sure to seek it out because you don't know what health scares people have on the floor. So it's important to look at that too.
The like first year experience, the freshman year experience that so many students love. Like I really enjoyed my freshman year living on the dorms. Like as an out-of-state student, something that I was nervous about was not being able to meet people, not being able to make friends, you know, going across the country to a school where I didn't know anyone. So like the dorms was a place where I found my community. And so I think it will look really different this upcoming year. Do you think that will like hinder people from being able to make friends because of like the online aspects of like RA's events and stuff like that?
Yeah. So at first I thought it would be a much bigger issue, but now I'm actually doing an internship right now too. And I've made friends online. I didn't expect that to happen. I didn't expect to make friends with other interns being online, but that's happened for me. And I know all the RAs are still excited to program virtual events and try to foster that community. It's not going to look the same, but at the end of the day, nothing we do is going to look the same because of the pandemic. There's not much we can do, but we're going to try our best to try to help people form relationships, at least in a broader scale, or feel like they have people to go to and feel like they have resources they can still access.
Yeah, awesome. So speaking of like the online aspects of everything, you've had your class registration. How was that process?
Every single one of my classes is online because they're all above 25 people and they're all social science-based courses. So there's really no need for there to be an in-person component as much as I would like. For registering, it was exactly the same as other years for me. I logged into my Cal Central portal, which is our main framework we use to register for classes. And I picked the classes that I would have picked regardless of it being online. I don't think my major has a lot of leeway for stuff to be in person, so I didn't necessarily seek that out, even though I've known for a while that I'm going to be going back to campus and that was the choice I was going to make. I didn't think I needed to really have those in-person classes.
Do you think online education at Berkeley is similar to in-person education? Like, is there an equivalence there?
I think it's really hard to measure because it's honestly class by class. I had a lot of professors who did absolutely fantastic transitioning from in-person to online. And while it was different, I still felt like there was a lot of elements that carried through. And I felt like I was getting a really good education. On the flip side, I had some teachers that weren't as apt with technology. So for a few weeks, it was a little touch and go. But that being said, most of my professors got there. I think in general at Berkeley, you're getting taught by people that are some of the smartest people in their fields. So that element is still there. Those people are still the ones teaching you, but those in-person components, it definitely feels a little lacking when you're not able to have that person in front of you.
Professors have had a few months. We had the spring semester partially online, and like now the professors have gotten the swing of things. If they've taught a summer course, then they've also been doing it for longer as well. So I really think this upcoming fall, it will be better than it was in the spring because everyone is coming in with more experience under their belt. Cattail, you gotta move. No. And I think with the professors having more experience under their belt, they will make it honestly feel similar to as if it were an in-person class. In discussion sections, like I hated talking because it's just so scary, but now they do breakout rooms in Zoom and then they pair you with like 3 or 4 other people and then you're forced to talk. So it actually has honestly been easier to interact with people because it's on the internet. So I've really liked that part of online education.
Yeah, my discussion sections were probably actually the best parts that carried over. And during a lecture too, a lot of times I've had a lecture last semester that was like 750 people in the room. So when you move online, obviously you don't know all those people are there, but you're still having that person teach there in front of you. And it's just less ability to ask questions maybe in lecture, but in discussion sections, super easy transition. You just maybe get tired of looking at a screen.
Yeah, I agree. I really liked discussion sections and office hours being online. It's just so much more accessible. It's easier. I feel less nervous when I have to like talk versus in class talking in front of everyone. I'm like, holy crap, I'm about to like poop my pants. It's so nerve-wracking, but literally online, I can talk like super easy. So that part has been great. And I think spring semester being online, the classes were honestly sort of easier because of everything happening. Sure. Yeah, like I don't know, we like the grading seemed way easier because all of the professors and GSIs were super understanding of like the current situation. People might not have access to internet, or they might be in a different time zone. And I think hopefully that will continue over into the fall, where professors are accommodating to students who might not have the same resources as others.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. All my classes were infinitely easier once it was moved online. And it's not even that the curriculum changed. It's just I felt like my GSIs were very, very understanding, which is awesome. I know some people that didn't have that experience, but the vast majority of my friends said their GSIs were super nice to them.
Yeah, honestly, it was a GPA boost for me my last semester of college. So maybe it will continue over in the fall, but I feel like now that professors have gotten the swing of things, they will probably make their classes more difficult again. So I feel like a big topic that students are talking about is how will the freshman or transfer student experience be different, especially because we can't have like large events. There aren't really any sports games to go to. Do you want to touch upon that?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of the elements of the freshman transfer experience that are missing are also missing for all students at Cal. Like, I'm super upset that we're not going to be able to go to the football game in the fall. I was really looking forward to that this semester. I'm upset that I'm not able to go to club events. So things like that, it's almost like an equalizer in the fact that everyone is missing out on those. The freshman and transfer elements that you might particularly be missing out on is the ability to kind of become close friends with individuals. I think it's going to be a lot of group fostering of relationships, but you can't really on a Zoom call decide that you really like talking to someone and then kind of talk one-on-one with them a little more when you normally would be able to do that at, say, a club event or a club rush event. You're able to kind of pick out people that you think you'd really vibe with, and now it's kind of people will come together as more of a collective than they will as individuals or small friend groups.
So speaking of club recruitment, a big thing at Berkeley every single semester is joining clubs. We have over 1,200 clubs here on campus. So literally a ton of great ways to find your niche, find your community, find people that you just vibe well with. So with club recruitment, I know that you're a part of Berkeley Model United Nations, that organization on campus. If you want to touch upon like how that club is going to be recruiting.
So I'm in a really unique position because I'm actually in charge of recruiting for B1 this semester, which is something that I decided to take on, kind of knowing what the situation would be, but at the same time having no clue. So originally when I took it on, we thought maybe we'd be able to have some in-person components or options for people on campus. You're not going to be allowed to recruit in person. And we also made the decision, regardless, that we will be recruiting online no matter what the rules are, because we want to make it really equitable to people that are not on campus. We will have a 100% virtual recruitment process, and all of our mandatory events will be online. Also, I think any other events will likely be online too, but if public health guidelines change in like the middle of the semester, maybe we'll do picnics and stuff. But for recruitment, at least, it's all going to be online. We're going to be working through virtual club fairs that we're setting up with other organizations. Maybe we'll be posting some of the Facebook chats. Our website is updated. We're going to be doing a digital marketing push, and all of the interviews that we're going to do, any coffee chats, they're all going to be online, any info sessions. So if you're back home, it really will be the same as someone who's living one block from campus, because we're not going to have any advantages for people that are in person. We just decide that would be unfair.
Yeah, that's super awesome, because I feel like a lot of students might feel that they need to go live on campus in order to participate and join clubs and stuff like that. So that's really great to hear how your club is working to become more equitable amongst all of the different kinds of situations that are happening. Do you have any tips for students who want to apply to clubs? Like, how would you even find that now? Because all of the information is online, usually at Berkeley, every single day on Sproul Plaza, which is like the main heart of campus. So many clubs are out there flyering, and that's where they give you flyers to like join their club or fundraiser or something. So like now, how can students get that information about all of the clubs out there? Like, when are their information sessions? When are applications due? All of that jazz.
So I think most clubs, the application cycle is for the first 2 weeks of school. And as someone who's a signatory for my club on campus, which means I'm listed at the kind of club organization center on campus as one of the main leaders of the club. The information I've gotten is they're going to try to host virtual recruitment fairs where you're able to go in. And if I was a student incoming to Berkeley, my best advice would be figure out the areas you're interested in, and then that's how you're going to narrow it down. Like you said, there's over 1,000 clubs on campus, but if you're interested in international relations, for instance, that might narrow it down to like 30 clubs or maybe even 20 big clubs that you can try to join. If you know you're into philanthropy, that will narrow it down to another 20 clubs. Consulting. So if you kind of look into what you're interested in.
Moving into final thoughts and everything, Michelle, it's your senior year and the beginning of it is going to be online for the class of 2020, my class that just graduated. We had half a semester with online classes. So right now, like, how are you feeling with having maybe your entire senior year be online?
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be most of my senior year. I don't know. I feel like at this point, a lot of Berkeley students are just to resign to whatever's going to happen. Not that we always have riots and stuff, but we've had some like riots over some conservative speakers coming to campus. We had the PG&E blackouts and fires for the past 2 years. So we've had classes canceled and moved for that. So I feel like a lot of Berkeley students are like, it's going to be what it's going to be. And that's kind of my mentality. I'm not super excited about it, but also what are you going to do? It's a pandemic and it's kind of nice that I'm still able to go to school and live in the dorms regardless. But yeah, not super pumped about it. But that being said, what are you going to do?
Yeah, it's definitely that one meme of like the dog thing sitting in all the fire that says like, oh,
yeah,
it's
like
fine.
This is fine. This is fine. No, that's my like mentality. And I have some friends that are really like pressed about it. They're really like, oh my gosh, I don't know what we're going to do. And this is going to be the worst. And then the other half of my friends are like, well, at least we don't have to live at home anymore, or oh cool, maybe we'll be able to do an outdoor picnic in November. Like the expectations are so different, so if you expect it to be in person, you're really upset, but the rest of us are just like, it's fine. If you give us anything, it's fine.
Yeah, so thank you, Michelle, for being a part of this video. You definitely gave some sage words of advice as a student who has been on Berkeley coming up on 4 years now, so that's always super exciting. But thank you all for watching this video. Hopefully you all found it informative. Make sure you like and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos, because I post every single Wednesday and Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So we will see you all next time.
Yes, like and subscribe.